Okay, so today I'm going to show you how to add validation to our form. So let's get started. So right now I'm going to use a npm package, a node package that will make validation so much easier because you have predefined functions that you can use to validate the email, password, simple text, whatever it is. Okay, so let's first install that, and it's called validator. So npm install validator, just install that. Now that is installed, so next I'm going to import it. Import, and then I'm going to keep this empty for now, from validator. Okay, and you will see we have all of these functions that we can use. Okay, so we have right now, okay, so right now we have a first name, last name, email, password. Okay, so here we want to check all of these are empty or not, so that's one thing. Okay, let's just make a list for this. Okay, so check is empty. Okay, and also check email, and let's check password. Okay, and actually we're not checking just the password, we're checking if this is a strong password. Okay, and let's see, yeah, that's oh, actually we're gonna check one more thing, and that is for the first name and the last name. That is if it is uh, only containing alphabets, so no numbers. So let's say check is alpha. Okay, for alphabet. So I am going to show you how the functionality of validating our form happens. So first, what's going to happen is when you end up submitting, right, what's going to happen is this whole page is going to reload, and that is default behavior, and we don't want this, right? We don't want to reload each and every time. So what you do is you check if your form is being submitted or not first. So I want to do something when the form is submitted, so there is a event listener called on submit in the form. So you add that using on submit. Okay, and inside of this you will add a function. I'm just going to use an arrow function. Okay, and I'm gonna get the event, and I'm gonna pass that into the function that we're gonna create, and I'm gonna name this function form submit. Okay, I'm just gonna call it something simple. And right now we do not have this form. I showed you how to use this simple function, and now I'm gonna show you how you can make a arrow function. Just use const because functions are always constant. and then you name it, and then you say equal to, and then you create the arrow function right here. I'm just gonna copy all of this, okay, and I'm gonna make this in a way that everything feels automatic. So this is gonna get a little bit complicated, but this is gonna be worth it. So the first thing we're checking, actually we need to get the event first, okay, just like we did above. So we're getting the event, so we want to check which field is empty right now. We want to display a message saying that okay, this field is empty, okay, this is empty right now. So first I'm going to create a message, okay, for the error message, and I'm gonna make it an array, and I'll tell you why we're gonna make it an array. The reason is if this array has even one error message, we want to display that and say okay, there is an error, we do not want to submit this form, okay. So first I'm going to check whether any of the fields are empty or not, okay. So to do that, I'm just going to use an if statement first just to make things simple, and there is a predefined function in validator called is empty, okay, is empty, and you just pass in whichever input field, okay. This is basically the use state we have, okay, use state we have, and we're just gonna copy this, okay, and we are gonna get this. So we're getting the input field, and we're checking that by default this is empty, so we're gonna check that did someone put in some information or not, or is it just empty still, okay. So I'm gonna access the first name, okay, and for now actually I'm gonna console log something, okay, and I'm basically gonna console log this to first show you what this is. I'm gonna comment this out for now. So on submit, this will trigger and this will run all of this. Actually, I'm forgetting one more thing, the default behavior, okay, the when we submit and this page reloads, we want to prevent that. So to do that, you do dot prevent default, okay, and that's all you do. You do dot prevent default, and that prevents the default action of the form submitting. I'm gonna sorry about that. I'm gonna save this, okay, and if this reloaded, I'm just gonna reload it myself one more time just to make sure that everything was reloaded, okay. So now if I press submit, as you can see I'm pressing submit, but this page is not reloading, so we prevented the default action, that is reloading the page. Oh, all of the alphabets need to match, okay. I'm just gonna open our console log, this, and I'm gonna submit, okay. So it's saying true, and the reason it's saying true is that this is checking if this is empty or not, and saying yes, true means yes, it is empty right now, and we want to trigger something if it is true, okay. We're gonna say that okay, if this is empty, then I want to submit, then I want to display a message, okay. Just gonna copy this console log just to save time, and I'm gonna put in a message saying field is empty, okay. I'm just gonna say a simple message, and let's put an else as well. Let's just copy this, is, let's just say, not empty. Okay, so we're gonna keep this simple, and we're gonna do first this. Oh, what the expected a string but received an, what? Why did we get this again? Why is this? Oh, I named it wrong again. Seriously, I need to check that first. Okay, now it will not give us an error. Now if I submit this, it's saying yes, field is empty. But if I go, let's say I add a name, and it is saying now false, it is not empty. Okay, but the problem is that we are checking one field, and I do not want to do like, okay, copy and paste and check the last, oh sorry, the last name. Okay, I don't want to do that, right? That would take up too much space, right? So what you can do here is use a, actually I'm gonna move this one first, and I'm gonna keep this and comment this out because I want to use the console logs. So what you can do here is use a for loop to go through each of the properties inside of our object, and then we can just get the name of those properties and display the error. So for now, what you need to do is for, okay, and you can create a constant if you want. You can use a let even. I'm just gonna do let for now, okay, just to be safe. You can use a constant if you want. You can try that. I'm gonna call this input name, as in the name of the input. Okay, and I'm gonna say in the input field. So I'm saying for each input name in the input field, do something. Okay, remember it like that. This, I'm just gonna console log the error. Actually, I'm just gonna copy this. Now that I think about it, I can just copy this. Okay, move this. I'm just gonna copy and paste this in. Okay, so but I want to replace this, right? So the way you can do that is add square brackets in front of the input field, and just add this, because each time this goes through, this will get the input name. And I'm just gonna show you just in case you were wondering. I'm just gonna cut this, add this, and I will just copy and paste this here. Okay, so it's this, and I'm just adding this in the square brackets. Okay, always checking these empty. Oh sorry, I forgot to remove that. This is gonna get the names. Okay, so for each of these, I'm getting the names of each of the fields. Okay, and now we go back to our function that we had is empty, and it will check whether each of the fields is empty or not. So I'm just gonna do this again, and it's saying false for the first one because this is not empty, and the rest are true, 3 times true, because all of these are empty. So I'm just gonna I'm gonna comment this, and now this will display our message. And I'm gonna do a thing here where I'm gonna be like, okay, give me the name of each of the fields and the message accordingly. So I'm gonna do this. So it's saying the first name is not empty and the last email and password field is empty. Okay, so that's how I'm gonna get each of these, but I want to add the error, right? That's what I want to do. So I just need this last part. Oh, sorry, I just need this first part right here, and I'm gonna just cut this out and remove this. And here what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add it into our message, right? MSG. And if you do not know how to put things into an array, you use a push method. Okay, just do this, and this is now gonna get put into our message, and I'm gonna console log this. Message, oh, oops, G message. Okay, and now I'm gonna show. Okay, now it's putting in the three messages of the last name, email, and password are empty. And what you can now do with this message is go like, okay, if the message is, if the message array has something inside of it, that means there is an error, and that error is something that is showing us that there is a problem with our form. There is some validation error. So we are going to just keep it like this for now, and I'm going to console log. Actually, I just wanna console log the message array, so I'm just gonna put that here. I'm just gonna remove this. Okay, and I'm just gonna that, and here we go. It's saying that we have three errors. Okay, so, but this is not enough. Okay, I'm just gonna take this, and now I'm also gonna go, okay, we have checked if our fields are empty or not, but what about this error right here, that does the first name and the last name contain only alphabets, or are they also containing numbers? I want to check that because I don't want the user to put in numbers in their name. So I'm gonna put two if statements here, okay, because we have two input fields for this. This one's kind of a manual thing. Okay, so first name, okay, and you just use the is alpha, okay, and this works the same way. Okay, if there is alphabets inside of this, then that's fine, but if someone ended up putting some numbers in this, that is not going to be fine. So I'm just gonna console log this first. Console log, put this in this. I am actually gonna do this for 2, just so that everything is clear. Last name, save this, and I'm gonna put in this, and load, yes, okay, true, and now if I do like 1, right, and then it's saying false, that no, the second one, okay, the second one right here, that is a problem. That is not only alphabetic. It doesn't contain only alphabets, it's containing a number. So what check you can pass into this is that if this is not alphabetic, okay, this does not only contain numbers, this does not only contain alphabets, then I want to just push another message, and that is going to be that this field, let's say, contains numeric values. Oh, it's E. I forgot to replace the E. Okay, it's fine. I put an A accidentally. Okay, so just copy and paste this in. Okay, so this field, actually I'm gonna copy this, I'm gonna remove this. Okay, and all you need to do is just copy and paste it. Okay, and I am going to replace both of these. Okay, so I'm saying the first name and the last name, and I'm actually gonna make the F small because that does not look right. Do it for this one as well. Okay, so save this, and now it will just add that, because right now you're seeing 2 errors, right? So it should be 3 now. And as you can see, there are 3 errors, and the last one is do1. Oh, sorry, sorry about that. This is not gonna be like that. Okay, I should have just named this. Sorry. Oh, sorry, I meant to put it here. I'm gonna say first, because we're manually checking this, I didn't really need to do this like this. Okay, so just gonna redo this. Okay, so it's saying that the last name field contains numeric values. Okay, actually I'm gonna change this to contains values. Oops, values that are not oh, ALPH A. I forgot to add the A. Sorry about that. Okay. Alphabetic. Okay. So these 2 fields contain values that are not alphabetic. Okay, so let's just say that. And now, as you can see, the last name contains something that is not alphabetic. So let me just do this. Now you can see there are 2 fields. Okay, so that's how you do that. Now the email, right? We can just check that really easily. Okay, I'm just gonna create an if, and it's the same process. Actually, I'm just gonna copy this. Okay, and I'm gonna put this in the email. Actually, I'm gonna say email is not correct. Okay, and you just use is email. Okay, and do the same thing. Okay, just get the input field, put it in dot email. Okay, and I'm gonna first show you what this gives us. Wait, did this not put it here? Oh, for some reason it didn't put it here. Okay, okay, so first I am going to show you. Let's put a correct email in this first. Okay, let me just submit this, and it's saying true. This email is correct, but let's say I ended up adding this, right? And now it's saying false. This email is not correct. So if this email is not a correct email, then just put this in there. Okay, that's all you need to do for this. Save this, and now I'm gonna save this and saying the password field is empty and email is not correct, and I'm gonna put this here, and now I'm gonna save this, and now saying just the password field is empty. Okay, that was a simple one. And now we go for the password, which is basically the same thing. So I'm just gonna copy this, and I'm gonna put this here, password, and this is a little different, so it's called is strong password. Okay, I just confirm this. Yeah, is strong password. Okay, and this actually returns a few things to us. So I am gonna comment this out, so log this, and right now I'm gonna just show you, and it's gonna say false, and the reason for that is that it is only checking all of the things that are by default set in. Like, you need to put in alphabet, you need to put a uppercase character, a lowercase character, a symbol of some kind like an @ symbol or something like that, and a few other things. Okay, let me just open up the documentation for this just to show you. Okay, so the documentation was a little cluttered, so I just went and got this part. These are the default option when it comes to the password, is strong password function. So these are the defaults, and this is how the points are scored according to this. Right, so first I'm going to show you that it has to have a minimum length of 8 characters, and it has to have one lowercase, one uppercase, one number, and one symbol. Okay, so let's do that part first. Okay, so I'm just going to type in one uppercase, one lowercase, one symbol, one number. Yeah, one number, and it has to have a minimum of 8. So just type in anything. Actually, you know what, I'm just gonna do this. So right now it has one uppercase and 3 lowercases, and I'm gonna add a symbol, and a number, 3 numbers. I've added 3 numbers, so that's 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Okay, that's total of 8, and if I submit this right now, it's saying that's true. I haven't changed any of the default options right now, so I am going to, let's say for right now, that to change any of the default options, all you do is pass in your own right here. Okay, it's curly braces, and if I change, let's say no symbols, right? No symbols, just I'm going to change the minimum length and the no symbols. I'm going to make it no symbols. So all you do is add in minimum length, and I'm going to say it has to have a minimum length of 4, and also the minimum symbols is going to be 0. Okay, so I'm going to save this, and I am going to rewrite this, and I'm going to say 1 uppercase, 3 lowercase, and now it's 4. And also I have to add a number, so I'm going to add 1 number. I'm going to submit this, and it's true. If I remove that number, now it's going to be false because I haven't made it like it doesn't have to have any numbers. Okay, and this is the same process like this, you know, minimum numbers, so that make that 0. But this returns score right here. What this does, right? You might wanna check some things with this. So I'm gonna just copy, and I'm gonna paste this in. I'm gonna turn this to true, and now you will get something else. So now I'm getting a score of 24, and that basically means that is checking all of these things. Is it containing a lower, is it containing uppercase, is it containing number, symbol, unique, and repeat. Sometimes in forms you see that bar where you say like that, okay, this is a strong password, this is a weak password. That's what you do with this, and that's what this turns on. It turns on the score. Okay, so right now I want to keep things simple, so what I'm gonna do here is just be like, okay, 4, and it doesn't need to have any symbols, but I want a uppercase, I want a lowercase, and I want a number. Okay, those are the 3 things I want. So I'm just gonna uncomment this. I'm gonna go okay, and if this password does not contain any of these things, like it doesn't pass our strong password test, then I want to say that, okay, this password is not correct, and then add. Let's see what we get, right? Actually, I'm just gonna make this 1 character right now. Okay, so saying that, okay, the password is not correct. Okay, the password is not correct. Your password needs to contain minimum of 4 characters, 1 uppercase, 1 lowercase, and 1 number. Okay, so we are getting the message now, and now all we need to do is display it. So you just need to create a use state. So I'm just going to copy this, and I'm going to keep it, change the name to, let's say, error messages. Okay, call this error messages, and I'm gonna set these. Oh, and by default I want this to be an array, an empty array, and I'm gonna set these when this doesn't pass. Okay, so the message, I'm gonna set it to those. Okay, our error messages. And I know this is not like good naming, but I'm just trying to keep things simple here. Okay, so set error messages, we're setting those. And before this, actually what we want to do is also add this. Actually, you know what, we are going to add this at the top right here after we prevent this. And the reason for that is it's gonna keep replacing things, so I just want it to be empty completely. That's just good practice. So just make it completely empty first, and then just display the new errors. I mean, even if you don't add this is still fine. I just like to do this as a precaution. So even though we've done that, we want to display the messages, right? So in the form under here, what I'm going to do is div, and I'm going to get a class name of, let's say, alert. Actually no, I'm going to make this bg dash danger. Actually no, text dash bg dash danger. Okay, that's just gonna style our alert box, and I'm gonna say actually I'm gonna keep this like this, and this class name, and I'm gonna give this a heading of, let's say, h4, styling of h4, and I'm gonna say error. I'm just gonna keep it like this. And now under this, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do, oh sorry about that, I'm gonna add in a map. Okay, get the error messages, and I'm gonna do dot map to map through them. And for each, I'm gonna say message, I want you to display all of that inside of this. So I'm gonna use a p. Actually, you know what, since I'm just gonna be returning this, right, so I'm just gonna make it even shorter. So just this, and do, oops, sorry about that. Gonna do that the message should be displayed, and saying I'm missing the key prop. Each message is going to be unique, so I'm just going to use that as the key also. So actually let me just add t dash 3. Okay, and I'm gonna save this, and the reason you're not seeing any errors is because none of them got updated on the state. Okay, so if I do this now, as you can see, I'm getting all of the error: the first name field, the last name, the email, the password, and it's saying that the field does not contains values that are not alphabetic. Oh, all of them are empty. Oh, right, I refreshed the page. and let's start filling things in. Okay, so this and this and this, and actually I'm just gonna keep these three first. As you can see, now it's saying that the password is empty and these things are needed for your password to be correct. Okay, so if there are any error messages, basically just add them and display them here. Okay, that's what we're doing with this. Okay, so let's just, and as you can see, this is still showing up, and the reason for that is I've just kept it simple. I have not added a uppercase and I have not added a number. So let me just change this to, I've added one uppercase and three lowercases, and I'm gonna do some numbers. And as you can see, now we don't get any errors, but we're still getting the alert box. What you can do with this is to first check if the array in our use state is empty, and that is the error messages use state array. And I'm just gonna copy this. Okay, so right now just add curly brackets and then add the array that we want to check, and I'm gonna do dot length is greater than 0 because we wanna only execute this when the length is greater than 0. Okay, meaning something is in there. And just use double and operators, and what this does is checks if this is true, then execute this. That's basically just what it's doing. Okay, and you just add this. Oh, and you need to add these as well because this is the return. Okay, so I've saved this, and as you can see, it's gone. If I remove, let's say, the password, you will see it's giving me the password errors. Okay, so that is how you do form validation. Now a little something I wanted to tell you about validation. Okay, and that is that right now the way we are doing our validation is just checking if we have errors, and we're just putting those errors into, we are checking our messages array to see if we have errors, and then we are just saying that okay, there are errors, display those errors. And you can put in anything like if there are errors then don't submit the form, or just add an else statement here and then go okay, else submit the form. But there is also another thing, another way of doing validation, and when your validation becomes complex, that's when you use this, and that is right here. I'm gonna create a variable called is valid, and you can name this whatever you want. I'm just naming it this, and you set it to true, that the validation is clear, there are no problems. And what you do then is really simple. Right here where you're putting in your message. Okay, oh sorry, one thing I forgot to do, this has to be a let, sorry about that. This has to be a let because we want to change the value. Okay, so here I'm going to say false. False. Okay, and also do this for each of these, so that wherever the validation ends up being false, it will update that. Okay, so now I can just change this to say if is validation is equal to false. Okay, I'm gonna say equal to false, then do this. Okay. And right now it's fine because there are no problems, but I do this. Let's refresh this. Okay. I'm gonna console log this. Okay, obviously we are getting the messages, and I'm gonna console log this. Okay, so that, oh, it's still updating. Okay, it's done. Now you can see we are getting our error message. Okay. Okay, but you can see the error messages. Okay, so now you're seeing the messages right here, and whenever any of these is false, and we'll automatically trigger this. Okay, so for the test 3 is true now, and it did not trigger it. But if, let's say, I did this right and saying that now the error is being shown right here. Okay, so this is triggering it, and as you can see, any of these will trigger it. And now our form works. It is completely fine, and our form validation is complete. I hope you liked this tutorial. Like and subscribe for more tutorials like this, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.